Hello everyone. In this lecture video, I'll be talking about agarose gel electrophoresis. In agarose gel electrophoresis, the DNA molecules are separated on the basis of charge and the size. As the concentration of agarose increases, the size of pore decreases, and if we decrease the concentration of agarose, then the size of pore will increase. Okay, therefore the larger DNA molecule cannot run fast in comparison with the smaller DNA fragments, whereas the smaller DNA fragment, it appear nearer to the positive charge consequently. Now, once the electrical current passes through the gel, the DNA start moving towards the opposite electrode because DNA has got negative charge because of presence of phosphate group, and as the electric current passes through the gel, being a negatively charged molecule, it moves towards the positively charged electrode. Now here, a fluorescent dye such as ethidium bromide is used to visualize the DNA bands. Means ethidium bromide, it is intercalating agent. It get intercalated in between the two subsequent nucleotide, and once it get intercalated, these bands can be visualized under the UV light, and these being fluorescent in nature, it absorbs the light in the UV range, whereas emit it in the visible range. Now another dye named the DNA gel loading dye. It is added when we load the DNA sample. It helps us to monitor the migration of DNA as it run ahead of it. Being blue in color, we can see that the blue color is moving ahead of the DNA, so that we get the idea like how long that DNA has migrated, and how long we should put that current on. Further, a known molecular weight DNA marker is used, and this known molecular weight DNA marker, it is used to calculate the exact size of DNA. Once DNA reaches a sufficient distance, as I said, this can be known by using the loading dye. The process is stopped. This is to protect the DNA running out of the gel. The agarose gel electrophoresis, it's also known as horizontal gel electrophoresis, and it is used to separate the nucleic acids. It can be of DNA or RNA, having the base pair almost between 50 base pair to 15 kilo base pair. That was just the introduction or the brief idea about electrophoresis. Now, let us see what is exactly electrophoresis. It is nothing but the process in which we separate and characterize the molecule based on their size and charge. And this process is known as electrophoresis. Now, what is the exact definition of electrophoresis? Under the influence of constant electric current, the charge particle, in this case DNA, okay, it has got the negative charge. The charge particle can move in liquid. Liquid means here we add the buffer. Charge particle can move in a liquid or fluid medium. The entire process is known as electrophoresis. Okay, means it is nothing but the movement of charge particle through the liquid medium, and that movement takes place under the influence of electric current, and this process is known as electrophoresis. Okay, now that electrophoresis is used to identify, to separate and to characterize the biological molecules, and it can be DNA, RNA or protein. Usually, electrophoresis are of two types. One, vertical gel electrophoresis, and the second one is the horizontal gel electrophoresis. In vertical gel electrophoresis, the sample it ran from upside down and discontinuously. I'll just take pen, okay. The sample it moves upside down, okay, where, and this is basically used for the separation of protein sample, and here the gel is made of PAGE, polyacrylamide gel, is used for separation of protein in vertical gel electrophoresis, and instead of agarose here acrylamide is used. Next type is the horizontal gel electrophoresis. In horizontal gel electrophoresis, the sample run continuously, whereas in previous case we have seen that the sample run discontinuously. Here in horizontal gel electrophoresis, sample run continuously and that is parallel to the surface. Okay, and this is mainly used for separation of DNA. In this case, instead of polyacrylamide, which we have seen, this is the gel which is used in vertical gel electrophoresis. Here, the agarose is used. Now, horizontal gel electrophoresis, it is easy to conduct as well as it is reliable, and it gives the best results. But if we want to separate the molecules with a very small difference in them, then instead of agarose, one should go for the PAGE. Okay, polyacrylamide is the best for separation of molecules having a very small difference. For example, if we want to separate the DNA fragment with a difference of only 5 to 10 base pair, then in this case the agarose will not give you the best results. Rather than agarose gel electrophoresis, one should go for the PAGE. Okay, and here these standard horizontal gel electrophoresis will not give you the expected results. Rather than this, one should go for the PAGE. Means if we want to separate the DNA fragments with a very small difference, then you should use PAGE rather than agarose. As the agarose gel electrophoresis is commonly used for DNA separation, and therefore here in this lecture video I'll be talking about the agarose gel electrophoresis in detail. The agarose gel electrophoresis is also known as submarine gel electrophoresis. Here, why do we call it as a submarine gel electrophoresis? Because in agarose gel electrophoresis, the entire gel it remains covered with the running buffer completely. That gel is all the time it is covered by the running buffer, and therefore it is known as the submarine gel electrophoresis. Now, what are the things which are required for agarose gel electrophoresis? Chemicals. Here, we need to have agarose powder, then a buffer. Either we can go for TAE or TBE buffer. Then we need the ethidium bromide, and this is for the detection of DNA bands. And we also need bromophenol blue dye, that is the loading dye. This helps us to know how long the DNA has been covered. I mean how long that DNA has covered that gel. Okay. And in case of equipment, we need to have the gel caster which helps to prepare the gel. Then electrophoresis chamber is required, where we put the gel and we put on the electric current, and then the DNA will move from one pole to other pole. Then we need to have the voltage source which will provide the electric current, gel tray, comb, oven, and UV transilluminator. This is used to detect the DNA bands. And in order to carry out this agar gel electrophoresis, we need some other utilities like pipette, tapes, flask, and weight balance. This is the electrophoresis tank, and here this is nothing but the agarose gel. And as I said, that buffer is stored in this tank, and all the time this gel is immersed in the buffer, means buffer is overloaded on this gel. And this is the negative pole, negative electrode, whereas this is the positive electrode. And this is nothing but the power supply. Okay, now as we put on the current, so electric current will pass, and the DNA having negative charge, it will move in this direction. And because as it this is the positive electrode, DNA being a negative charge, it will move towards the positive side. Okay, now what is the principle of agarogel electrophoresis? Here, negatively charged DNA molecule, it migrate towards the positive charge, and this migration is possible because of influence of constant current. Thus, the separation of DNA, it depends on the mass of DNA and the charge of DNA. The DNA molecules are forced to move through the agarogel pores. The rate of migration of DNA, it all depends upon the ionic strength of the buffer. It also depends upon the size and shape of the DNA and the temperature of the buffer. Okay, now apart from this, there are three important factors which affect the rate of DNA migration. Number one is the agarose concentration. As I said earlier, that if the concentration of agarose is lower, then the pore size would be bigger. And in this situation, the DNA can migrate easily as well as it can migrate very fast, and vice versa. In the sense, if the concentration of agarose is very high, then the pore size will be low and DNA will find difficult to move, and the rate will be slow in this situation. Next is conformation of DNA. Means if the DNA is present in the supercoil form, then obviously it will migrate faster than the DNA if it is present in the linear form or in the circular form. And why this is so? Because supercoil form of DNA, it is more compact, and therefore it becomes very easy for supercoiled form of DNA to pass through the pores of this agarose gel. On the contrary, the linear DNA and the circular DNA, so overall their size is quite big, and therefore they find it little bit difficult to move very quickly through the pores of agarose gel. If next point is the size of DNA. If the size of DNA is larger, so obviously it will take too much time I mean, the rate of migration would be lower. On the contrary, if your DNA is very small in size, then this such a small size DNA can move very quickly through the pores of agar gel. Now, what are the components of agar gel electrophoresis? Number one is agarose powder, then from which we can go for the agarose gel, then agarose gel electrophoresis equipment should be there. We need buffer for that. Then we need gel loading dye, and in order to see that DNA bands, ethidium bromide is required, and for the continuous current for pack should be there. Okay, so this is the pictures where we can see the various components of agarose gel electrophoresis, and this picture is taken from this website. Now, what is agarose? Agarose is nothing but the polysaccharide, and it is obtained from the seaweed. Okay, and it is a long chain, or we can say that it is a polymer of agarobiones, and it creates the agarose sugar. Okay, means what about the agar which we use in our lab for the solidification of medium? If we remove the agaropectin from that agar, then what we get is known as the agarose. Okay, and this agarose, it's made up of uh, chain of D-galactose and 3,6-anhydro L-galactopyranose disaccharide. It is made up of this disaccharide. The agarose powder, actually it is soluble only in boiling water. After cooling, it undergo the hydrogen bond formation, and hydrogen bond formation with the water as well as among themselves, and which results in the polymerization. I mean, the gel-like consistency is seen. Now, the size of pores, that varies on the concentration of agarose in the gel. The pore creates a channel in the gel from where the DNA can migrate. If we can say that if this is the pore presence in the gel, then through this pore the DNA can migrate. The melting temperature of agarose is nearby the boiling temperature, that is almost 95 degrees Celsius, whereas the gelling temperature is 37 to 43 degrees. As I said that as the concentration of agarose increase, the pore size decrease, and therefore uh, for various types of DNA, we need to select the various concentration of agarose. What do I mean by various concentration of agarose? Like if we are handling the genomic DNA, so genomic DNA means what? Here we expect that the overall size of DNA is more. I mean, it is greater than 1 kilo base pair. So in this case, the agarose concentration should be low as much as 0.8%. On the contrary, if we are handling PCR products and if we are handling, just a minute, PCR product and the plasmid DNA, then in this case, the size would be between 400 base pair to 10 kilo base pair. So here the we should go for the more concentration of agarose, that is we should go for the 1% of agarose. Now next, if we are handling the restriction ligation product, means if we have used any restriction endonuclease for cutting of DNA, in that case the size of fragments will be as smaller, like it would be 10 base pair to 1000 base pair, and therefore if even if we increase the concentration of agarose up to 3%, then whatever the pore size which will form through that pores, such small fragments can pass easily, and thus based on the size of fragments we should decide the concentration of agarose. Now this Agaro gel electrophoresis equipment, it has got the electrophoresis chamber, then gel caster. The gel caster is used for the formation of gel comb. It is used for the formation of well, where we actually inoculate this is the well which is formed because of this gel comb, and here we load the DNA samples. Then there has to be electrode positive and negative and clamps. Now the chamber, gel electrophoresis chamber, is made up of acrylic, and the agarose gel electrophoresis buffer is used to fill up the electrophoresis chamber. This buffer is used to prevent the change in pH. Now the gel caster is an important component which helps to cast the gel. Clamps are used to place the gel tray tighten into the gel caster, means we need to keep the tray in the caster so that there should not be any leakage. Once the gel gets settled down, then we remove the clamps, and then this gel tray is transferred into the agarose chamber, and which is already filled with the electrophoresis buffer. Okay, now here the wells which are necessary to load the DNA sample, those wells are formed with the help of gel comb, and in this wells we load the DNA sample. Okay, next the positive and the negative electrodes are attached to each side of the gel electrophoresis chamber. Yes, this is the comb. This help us to understand how the comb is placed. You can see this is nothing but the gel, and this is the gel comb. Okay, these combs are placed in a gel like this way, and whenever the uh, gel is formed, that time you will find the wells over here wherever these combs are present. So after removal of this comb, there would be the empty space, and we call it as a well. Okay, so this is the negative electrode, whereas this would be the positive electrode, and this is the direction of migration of DNA. As being a negative in charge, it moves towards the positive electrode. Now, the buffer, it works as a liquid medium to migrate DNA into the gel. Now here two buffer we use. One is tris acetate EDTA and tris borate EDTA. EDTA, it is a chelating agent, and the main advantage of buffer is that it has got the capacity to prevent the change in the pH of the medium. And here the borate which is present in the TBE, it can react with the glycerol Where do we use this glycerol? Glycerol is used while we load the sample, because this glycerol has got high density and therefore it get settled down to the bottom of that well. So it helps that DNA should reach up to the bottom of that well. Therefore glycerol is added. But if we use the TBE buffer, then this borate can react with the glycerol, and therefore it is better to use the TAE buffer rather than TBE. TAE means tris acetate EDTA is the first choice of. Now, next, DNA gel loading dye. Here, DNA gel loading dye, it consists of bromophenol blue and glycerol. Now, I'll tell you the function of both. The bromophenol blue, it is used to monitor the migration of DNA in the gel. Means during this process, what happened, this bromophenol blue, which is blue in color, this dye, it run ahead of the DNA, and therefore we can come to know like how much distance is covered by DNA in the gel. Accordingly, we can decide how long we need to supply the power. Okay, and I mean when to stop the current supply. And the function of glycerol is that it provides density to the DNA, and thus it helps that DNA to get settled. It helps the DNA to get settled at the bottom of the well. Next, we need the ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide is it is the fluorescent dye. Fluorescent means what? It absorbs the light in from the UV range, whereas it emits in the form of visible light. Okay, and this ethidium bromide, being intercalating agent, get intercalated in between the two nucleotides, and thus wherever the bands are present, so we can see the emission of light from that particular side. Why we need the help of ethidium bromide? Because DNA on its own does not have any color. So it becomes very difficult for us to identify exactly where the DNA bands are present, and therefore we take help of ethidium bromide. Pore pack, here both electrodes are attached to the pore pack, and we can run the DNA on 50 volt, 100 volt or 120 volt depending upon the type of DNA sample. Now, what is a protocol? Here, the entire procedure of agarose gel electrophoresis is divided into 6 parts. Very first is the we need to prepare the gel, then gel casting. Next is the loading of DNA sample. Then we allow that gel to run. Next step would be visualizing the gel, and then the interpretation. How to prepare the gel? Here, uh, to separate the PCR fragments, 2% agarose gel is recommended. Okay, so it is very simple. You weigh 2 gram of agarose powder and put it in a flask and add the TAE buffer and allow it to get mixed. Now heat that mixture in microwave, and uh, once it get dissolved, we can use it. Then we need to add the ethidium bromide. 0.5 microgram per ml ethidium bromide is added to that gel. Now next would be the gel casting. Here you place that gel tray on a gel caster and tighten it with the help of clamps. Put gel cone on that gel tray, and whatever the gel which you have prepared, agarose gel which you have prepared, pour it into the gel caster and wait till it gets solidified. Okay, then place it under the cool environment, and you can or if you want you can keep it in the fridge also. Then fill the electrophoresis chamber with the gel electrophoresis buffer and then carefully keep the gel which you have prepared into the chamber. Now fill the remaining buffer and ensure that the entire gel get covered by the buffer. So this is known as the gel casting. Now it is time to load the DNA sample. Okay, so you whatever the DNA sample which you want to load, place them in a sequential order, and in that DNA sample it is necessary to add bromophenol blue. Which help us to track like how long the DNA has been. Next is the running of the gel. Connect that electrode to the power pack and run the gel at 100 volt for 45 to 60 minutes. Now allow it to continue till the DNA has covered the 75% of the distance towards the positive pole. Okay, and this can be uh, the how much DNA has migrated, that you will come to know by using the tracking dial. Next is visualizing the gel. Now run the gel until the bromophenol blue, that is the DNA gel loading die, reaches up to the edge of the gel. Then turn off the power supply. Carefully remove the gel from the electrophoresis chamber. Drain off the buffer. Okay. Now what has happened? That as the bromophenol blue has reached up to the other end, suppose this is the chamber. If our to the other end here, then your DNA would be somewhere here, isn't it? Like this way. Okay, now you carefully remove this gel. Now we need to visualize like where that DNA has formed the band. Now you place that gel carefully on the UV trans illuminator platform and close the lid of trans illuminator. Now what will happen, that UV light will fall on that gel, and wherever the band will be there, so ethidium bromide will absorb the UV light and the visible light will be illuminated. So so that you will be able to visualize exactly where the bands are there. Yes, as I said, that ethidium bromide intercalates between the DNA bases and it emits the fluorescent light. So orange colored DNA bands are observed under the UV trans illumination. Okay, now what is a band? Band is nothing but the accumulation of DNA fragments of the similar type in the sense of the same size. And if we know if we have the molecular marker, then by comparing the position of our DNA sample, we can find out the uh, molecular weight or the size of a fragment by comparing with the standard molecular marker. Now this all the information as well as figures we have collected it from this website geneticeducation.co.in. Thank you.